Hello?
Hello, Jake.
Oh, Alex! It's been a while. I thought you might have called after the promotion, but it's good to hear from you.
Yes, it was very good. I have surprise for you.
For me? Is it my 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube? I've not heard from them about that. I'm really looking forward to getting it.
Better.
Better than that? What, golden generation of youth intake?
Even better.
Wait, you mean they fixed the match engine in Football Manager?
No, Alexis Sanchez.
Sorry, what? I think I've misheard you there. Can you say that slower, please, Alex?
Alexis Sanchez.
No, you haven't. You've not signed him. Oh, hold the phone.
I'm holding it already, actually.
That's not what I meant. It doesn't matter, Alex. Well, we better get the dressing room sorted for him.
I have taken care of that.
Oh. Yeah, I can see his pile of money. I guess you have already got it sorted for him. Well, that's fantastic. Great new signing, I guess. Just while you're here, by the way, Alex, people have been questioning it. I've been questioning it. The bank balance, it's a little bit in the red. Could we get some new investments? He just hung up on me. Alex? 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 Please help me. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Park to Prem here with Town Town. Today we start on the profile of Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, don't rub your eyes, you're not seeing things. This is a thing. I'll let you guys decide if this is a good signing or not. He's not got physicals and he can't really run anymore. Naturally fit still. But yeah, a 36-year-old Chilean international, almost 200 caps. He is retiring at the end of the year, so we're going to enjoy him whilst we can as an impact sub. But yeah, he was a little bit of a sign of intent, I guess, when it came to the end of the transfer window. And while he wasn't the only player we signed, we did make one further addition in the window, and that was Trayvon Walters, who, if you're looking at him thinking, he looks a little bit familiar, he was actually one of Bolton's star players a few years ago. Hasn't played particularly well for them in recent years. He's now without under-23s. He actually looks like an okay player. Age 22, can he live up to the hype? Has he got the ability to fulfill the potential that perhaps he once had? We'll have to wait and see, but you know what, as a bit of emergency strength in depth if needed, I think he's quite good. He's got quite a good value. Maybe we could look to sell him on for some money. That was kind of the thinking there, which might seem a little bit bizarre. There is one further name, and it's Matthew Dimitriou, who is the Canadian international, one of 4 players you might remember we signed last year. Players who had never appeared for a club before, but were playing for national teams at various levels. He doesn't have a work permit, which is a little bit of a disaster. He doesn't look like a particularly bad player, though, at all. You can see here lots of potential. That of a championship player, apparently. Hopefully he can get a work permit at some point. He looks quite good. Right now we are training him to play as a roaming playmaker with agility and balance as an additional focus. Worth noting, with him not having a work permit, he can't play for us. He's not permitted to work for us, and that's kind of how it works. In terms of players on the outs, you can see here we continue to do a hell of a lot of loan deals throughout this window. A lot of these are players who we've loaned out and their wages are being taken on by our team. That said, a few players did leave on free transfers, so we should acknowledge their existence. Paul Roberts left us to go to Morpeth. He was one of those players we took a punt on a few years ago. Didn't work out quite like Rodri did, but nevertheless, you know, not a loss, I guess, at the end of the day. The other player who left us, Sam Greenwood, he's gone to Staleybridge Celtic. A little bit sad to see him go. Of course, was a player who served us way back when, was chilling in the museum of Town. And, well, he's not played a game of competitive football in 4 and a bit seasons, so I can't really blame him for leaving. But he has gone to Staleybridge Celtic in the Vanarama National League North. We'll find out if he plays for them, I guess, down the line. Anyway, you can see here the date is the 4th of November. If you were wondering how are the finances looking, we were about £1 million in debt, and then the board... well, Alexander specifically went, hey, here's £350,000 to help. And I kind of just, you know, sat there looking in the well of money that we don't have. It is just a pit that needs filling with money, and as you can see, we're currently listed as insecure. Of course, the advantage of having a tycoon owner is, theoretically, they should be investing some money into the club to solve our issues, and, well, £350,000 doesn't go particularly far. I feel like we might have got the short end of the stick. I'm not convinced Alexander's actually a tycoon after all, folks. I think he might be lying. Bit of fraud. Maybe we're being used for money laundering or something, because we're not really feeling the effects of all his money. But alas, we're continuing to plod on through, and we're actually doing very, very well. If we just look here at fixtures since we were last here, it doesn't look like we're doing very well. I'm going to tell you that we are. We have lost one league game so far this season, and it was the first game after the Blackburn match. So in a game last episode where I felt like we did ourselves justice, we could be proud of what we put in terms of effort, it immediately went out the window. We lost this game 3-1. We were 3-0 down after 36 minutes. That's always a tall order to come back from, of course. Stockport promoted with us. Mampala got us a goal in the 75th minute. He very excitedly pulled the ball out the back of the net as if to imply there was some kind of comeback on the cards. I never really believed in it, and I was right not to. 3-1 is how it finished. We then took on Wolverhampton Wanderers in the EFL Trophy. I don't care about this competition. I'd be curious to know, if you're a fan of a League 1 or League 2 side, how do you feel about this competition? I actually went to the final of the EFL Trophy when Lincoln City won it a few years ago, and it was a little bit Mickey Mouse, a little bit Tim Pot. I think it was Shrewsbury the Lincoln, and Lincoln won through some proper, I mean, pardon my French, but shithousery. There's no other way to... It was pure shithousery. They had Matt Reed up front, who's just a giant of a man, and kicked the ball up to him. And since then, my opinion on the tournament has been blemished. Anyway, following on from that, a bit of a mixed bag of results. 4 draws in a row. Really, really frustrating stuff here. You can see here, against Scunthorpe, we rescued a draw through DKM's late goal. Against Fleetwood, we got a share of the spoils as Stewart scored from the penalty spot. Against Forest Green, we drew again. This time, Mampala scoring right away. You felt like, well, we're on our merry way. No, we were not. Anthony Thompson denied us. And then we took on Tranmere. And this was a game where I got very, very annoyed, frankly, and I stopped playing for the night. I closed my Football Manager and said, enough. And, well, you can perhaps see why here. We took the lead through Alexis Sanchez. They then got an equaliser through Tyler Frost. We pulled ahead again through Ballo in the 70th minute. It was good to see Ballo get a goal because he's not wowed me so far. And then right on cue in the 91st minute, a player who a few years ago we had an eye on, Adam Ida, the Irish international, at least I assumed an Irish international in the save, he scored in the 91st minute, and I was very, very upset and angry about things and felt like crying. And so I closed my game. You can see Ida here, terrific player. We looked at him a few years ago, released by Norwich, a player who actually has a hell of a lot of potential in Football Manager, which he's clearly not realised in this save game. I always find it interesting, once you get kind of 5 or 6, 7 years, I guess in the case of us here, into a save game, just how drastically different 2 saves can play out. In some saves I've seen, Ida is Norwich's striker playing in a top half of the table Premier League side. In this instance here, he's down languishing in League 2, although he's quite good for this level. Anyway, the good news is I went away for the night, had a sleep on things, and we came back with a bang. We beat Oldham 3-0 in the first of these 2 games. Sean McAllister got us off to a flyer in the first minute. He doubled his tally in this game with a second in the 15th minute. And before half-time, Zach Gannon was getting in on the action. And I'll tell you now, when Gannon's getting in on the goal scoring, that's when the real party begins. But a needed win, certainly. I mean, we can look at this 2 ways. We went unbeaten in the month of September, or you can look at it and say we won 2 of 6 league games. I'll let you decide which is better. Anyway, most recently we took on Peterborough, 89th minute goal, Leighton Stewart rescuing us the result. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Alexis Sanchez with the assist. So it would be fair to say that Sanchez has actually made an impact. He's not just been a meme transfer. He really is doing the business for us. And, well, if we look at the league table, you might not be able to guess where we'd be here. We're actually in 3rd. 11 games played, only 5 wins, 5 draws and 1 defeat, which is the fewest in the league in terms of defeats. And if we just look at the full table here, you can see we're on 20 points. It's probably worth noting at this point that you could go down to, well, Cambridge in 20th place. They're 8 points behind us. Things could still change very, very quickly here. Worth noting, however, both Bradford and Burton, who we have already played this season, are in 1st and 2nd. We have also already played Peterborough. I don't think we've played Chesterfield just yet. In fact, we have not, and we've not got them for a little while. In fact, no, I tell a lie, we've got them very soon. But Wrexham's the game we're going to do today, just to start the month. Things are in very kind of big flux come 2 weeks' time. Chesterfield could be down in 13th and suddenly it doesn't look like the clash at the top of the table. But anyway, this is how things sit, and I mean, goal scoring wise, we're not blowing teams out the water, and defensively, we're not blowing things out the water. I don't feel like blowing things out the water is the best way to describe defending. It all sounds very aggressive. The bottom line is, we're kind of just plodding on and grinding out results and proving difficult to beat, which is, I guess, implied by 5 draws that we've mustered up. In terms of general team performances, Smoyo in goal is just continuing to do his thing. There was some late transfer interest in him going into the transfer window. We haven't sold him. He is still here. I'm very happy if we just look at his dynamics. He actually isn't bothered about all the bids we've been rejecting for him, which I absolutely love. He seems quite settled at the club, of course. If you look at his potential, now listed as Premier League quality, it keeps fluctuating between Premier League and Championship on a weekly basis, but the bottom line is that he's going to be a quality keeper, and I want him around for the long haul. I really feel like he is the player to build around in this team. So he's been doing very well. The defence on the whole has been relatively solid. I would say now that Rush has perhaps been the, I don't want to say the disappointment of the group, but I was maybe expecting a little more from him. But certainly Embleton and Gannon in the centre of the defence have really kicked it off. I feel like these two players quite complementary to one another. Really good to see Gannon do well, because there were question marks around him after last season. I felt like, I don't want to say he'd let us down a little, but I was expecting better things from him. But this year, when you look at things on the whole, we've got 2 very good centre-backs who are currently performing well. Embleton, of course, in on loan. I would love to get this guy on a longer loan or potentially sign him permanently. That feels like a little bit of a stretch. He's currently contracted to Barnsley till the end of next year. But certainly, much like Norris, it would be quite nice to extend his loan for another year. And well, speaking of Norris, at left-back, you can see here 12 games played, 2 assists, which is the same number as Rush. His contract expires with Ipswich at the end of the year. I would love to sign this guy permanently. Of course, the player who's had, well, 2 separate spells at the club, played very well in both of those spells, and he's kicked off his League 2 career with us very, very well as well. That's a lot of wells. But yeah, when I look across this defence, you can see here a number of appearances is quite consistent across the board. The only games that Embleton and Gannon missed out on were games where they accrued too many suspensions or yellow cards, so they were suspended for a game each. The wing-backs I have just rotated with general tiredness, but there is definitely an element of stability at the back, which I think has been quite important for us. Where we're lacking a little bit of stability is in the centre of the midfield. You can see here, Liam Cole is suspended for today's game. He got sent off against Blackburn. He's suspended again today. You could perhaps say he's got discipline issues, which is a little bit of a concern for a player with 15 aggression and 15 bravery and 14 tackling. He's going to throw himself in, and he's not got the craziest decision-making in the world when he comes to it. So that's perhaps something of a little bit of concern. Sean McAllister as well, also out injured. The only 2 players missing today. But across our team, the centre of the midfield, I do feel like is an area of the pitch where we've not really had a standout performer as of yet. If we just quickly highlight all the players who can play centre mid, you can kind of see, looking at the average ratings in the last 5 games, Warrington's done well and Jones has done well, which is why they're going to play today. Worth noting, Jones hasn't actually played in the league yet this year. But I feel like it's worth going back to the tried and tested, you know. Jones, very, very good centre mid for us. You can see here, apparently a leading player for Vanarama National North or South teams. Last year playing in the National League, allegedly above where he can play. He got 8 goals, 4 assists and a 7.11 average rating. So I'm willing to give him a chance today, and I feel like this is not the worst match in the world to play him in. A game where Wrexham are struggling a little bit. It's going to be over in Wales playing on against Wrexham, and well, we need some players with Welsh heritage to help us with the home field advantage that I guess they get. Is that how it works? If they're from Wales, do they get some kind of home field advantage? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. So yes, it's going to be him and Warrington in the middle, and then in the attacking midfielder positions, Sanchez has kind of thrown a bit of a wrench in things because I don't really know where to play him. You can see here, so far he's played out on the right and out on the left. He has got goals and assists, so I feel like whilst you could judge his average ratings, you're better off just looking at his actual numbers. 1 goal and 2 assists in 2.5 appearances, shall we call it, is actually quite a good return. But today we're going to experiment with playing him down the middle. That being because Ballo, who I had such high hopes from, he's not wowed me so far in the centre of the attacking midfielder positions. So we're going to try him out on the right and see what he can do. As an inside forward, he has a hell of a lot of things going for him. It's just a case of the footedness isn't quite there. He's right-footed. DKM out on the left, though, has done quite well. Not the craziest numbers in terms of goals and assists, but his actual performances have been solid. I want to keep the faith with him. And of course, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm panicking too much here, but we are third in the league and we've only lost one league game, so we must be doing something right. In terms of striker, I'm going to play for Mampala for today's game. I have been rotating things between Stewart and Mampala. I feel like they are worthy of a direct comparison. Obviously, this year we have ditched the two-striker system. It was going to be inevitable. We had to pick one or the other. Here is how they statistically compare to one another. It's actually quite close. I feel like Mampala's been a little better in terms of recent form. You can see here, Mampala does have the better average rating. Leighton Stewart, a better goals per 90 minute kind of ratio is a little interesting. But I'm going to trust my gut here and also go with the big earner in Mampala. Although Leighton Stewart has signed a new contract at the club at the start of this year, I think. I'm trying to remember when he signed it. Either way, he signed a new contract. I can't remember if I've mentioned it before. It's definitely worthy of a little nod to. On the bench, we've got options as well. You can see the players here. There's a few disappointments in these ranks, including Michael Jacobs. I expected so much from this guy, and in the first few months of the year, he really hasn't developed and, well, provided us what I wanted. You can see here he got a 5.6 rating in our last game against Peterborough. I hauled him off in the 82nd minute. And then his replacement Sanchez scored, or got the assist for the goal that Stewart scored. So he's on the bench for today's game. Maybe that's where he'll be. Maybe he'll be this impact player. I guess the one thing that we've got going for us is, whilst we've not really had any standout performers just yet, we've got options to really rotate things around a lot. I know I bring this reference up a lot. It's a bit of a Rubik's Cube conundrum, you know? We're trying to get all the colours lined up in the right way, and I'm rearranging the team. I don't want to change the system too drastically, or the team too drastically, in truth, because we are third. But I feel like there's a more optimal way to be playing, and I want to give players, you know, lots of chances in lots of different roles in order to kind of discover what our best 11 is. So anyway, this is the team we're going to go with. Jones with a bit of a big game today. His first appearance at this level as a starter. On the bench though, plenty of options. Johnny Howard's there, Kane Patterson, Ollie Younger, Shuttleworth, Jacobs, who we've talked about being a disappointment. Also little Timmy here. I don't know what to make. How do you solve a problem like Timmy? We've tried him at centre mid. I've tried him at centre attacking mid, but I just feel like with his lack of dribbling, he's never really going to be a great player breaking into the final third, which I certainly demand of my centre attacking midfielder. I don't know. Answers on a postcard if you've got any ideas for what to do with Timmy as well. Anyway, I'm expecting a lot of postcards today, and well, let's hope that we can... I want to take this somewhere. Let's hope that we can get a postcard from Wrexham today. That's how it works in the Football League, right? If you beat a team, you get a postcard from that team. I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's get into the game, shall we? We've only lost one game all year in the league. It was against Stockport, the team who we were promoted with last year. They're going very strong. Wrexham, a solid team certainly. They are very much in playoff contention at this extremely early stage. They are not going to be pushovers. We need to be at our best. Keep an eye on Sanchez. He's done a lot for us in his last few appearances since he's joined us. He really has had an impact. I feel like the average ratings that he's got haven't really shown what he's contributed for us. And while playing as a number 10 today is going to be interesting as Rush gives away the ball. Maybe, well, he's not got the home field advantage, has he, the Welsh right back? He's given it away to Mullin, who now brings it forward. Look at him run. He's tired. I'm surprised he's got the ball in. Owen heads it over. I want to say Smolyo had it covered. He may not have done. Norris has picked up a booking early on, which is always good. So far in this game, 62% of possession in our favour. We are bullying them in terms of possession, but not doing a great deal. And while we're called into defensive action again here, corner headed over the bar. Again, I'm going to claim the keeper had it covered. A few shots on our goal, but none on target, at least in the highlights so far. And already we're rapidly approaching half-time. Where is the Alexis Sanchez effect? Where is it? I'm not feeling it. I'm going to go have a little chat with him individually, right? Sanchez, my friend. I know he's not picking up a particularly big paycheck. Maybe that's the issue. If you didn't catch it, he's on £650 a week. He spent a few years at Galatasaray, then a few years at Fenerbahce, I want to say. And, well, clearly he wants one last hurrah, and he's decided to return back to England and decided, in Egder David style, that League Two is the division for him. Anyway, he's had an absolutely awful debut in the live com, so we're going to take him off and bring in Jacobs, who has a bit of a point to prove. Callum Jones has not wowed me. You know what? Johnny Howard. Show us what you're made of, Johnny. He can't tackle, but he's got the teamwork and work rate, I believe, to make it work. I love to have a beaver in my team. A player who's just a little... runs around, works very hard. That is Howard in our team. He is the beaver. Smolyo, what a save that is. And Rush gets it clear. Mampala on the break. Why not? Why not believe that we can counter? Mampala, please square it. He goes alone, oh my word. Well, I mean, Rees is forced into a save there. Our half wasn't really expecting there to be a goal at the end of that, the way the run played out. There were players up in support, but I never truly believed that Mampala was going to square it. Jacobs on off the bench. I mean, he hasn't beaten the first man with his shot. I've got one last sub. I'm thinking about bringing in Leighton Stewart, but I don't know. Let's see what Rush can do here. This is the kind of game where we grind out a result somehow, and I'm not really sure. I mean, there you go. DKM, Rush, home field advantage. It's not a fable. It's real. And with that, I am now going to take off Mampala for Leighton Stewart. But DKM, with only his third goal of the season, puts us ahead in this game, and well, Rush, he finds the space outside. The defender just stands off him, lets him get to the edge of the 18-yard box. He pings it in. I thought from that tighter an angle it was going to be an impossibility for DKM to head it goalwards. He's not just got it goalwards, he's got it past the keeper. And with 20 minutes left, oh gosh, we're being called into defensive action. That's what's happening, although Stewart now with it, and we are running ahead. Who is that? Who is that? Jacobs? For a second I thought it was Superman. He was running so fast there. Look at him with his yellow boots. Look at him with his yellow boots. He's dancing past everyone. That's the player I thought we'd signed. It's the yellow boots. It's got to be the yellow boots. No one else in the team has them. Look at him. He looks like a... What's yellow, black and white? An albino wasp? That doesn't really work, does it? Either way, superb goal by Jacobs. It sounds like the setup for a joke. I don't know. What is the answer, folks? A zebra painting a fence yellow? Let me know. It's 2-0. We're winning. And this is going to be a huge result. No more highlights. 2 goals in 4 minutes. That gets us a crucial win. Smolyo, 5 saves held. He loves holding on to the ball. Some say he was born with a hole in his hands. No, a ball in his hands. If he had a hole in his hands, he wouldn't be a very good goalkeeper, would he? Unfortunately. But you can see here, great little result for us. Joe Hans not doing so great for Dagenham. Although he did keep a clean sheet. You can see a load of our other players out on loan. Did anyone do anything good? Oh, Hibbert for Blythe Spartans got a 7.8. Look at him. You might forget about him. At one point he was our third choice left back about 3 years ago. He's never played for us. He's now on loan in Blythe. He's loving it. Out on the town, having a party. And while Jacobs on off the bench to get a goal. And can I just say, I don't appreciate reading this. Jacobs is one of the top earners, and speculation growing as to the club's financial state. There's every possibility that the attacking midfielder could be one of the first to leave. Right, Alexander, I don't know where you are, mate, but I need you to start putting your hand in your pocket and giving us the money that I was promised when I came here. Before he took over, there was a news item that implied he was going to invest £14 million. Where is it? Where is it? Oh gosh, look at this. West Ham's manager is now looking at Smolyo. I mean, it's a growing list of teams interested. The good news is, he's on a contract for the next 7 years, so barring us going into liquidation, I don't think we're going to sell him, because we don't need to, and I quite like him as our goalkeeper, and I would like to have him all the way up the leagues now. If we could have him from the National League all the way up, it'd be a bit of a fairy tale. And I don't want that fairy tale to end here and now. Anyway, great result for us against Wrexham. That is a really, really solid result, which sees them tumble down the league. I am aware that we do have Chesterfield in our next league game, but I'm not going to do that today. I want to get through a bit more of the season. The league is just so tight at the top. We really can't identify who the big challengers are going to be. Hopefully alongside ourselves for the automatic promotion spots. Obviously, as the league starts to take shape, then we should have a better idea on things. And well, I'm not sure when we'll be back. We'll be back at a point where I think there's a game worthy of interest. I feel like the Grimsby Town game could be an interesting one. They're going quite strong in the league. But again, anything could happen. Let's not worry about if, whens and buts. Let's think about our finances and the fact that Alexis Sanchez is now a Town Town player. That's a glorious sight, and I'm going to leave you with that thought. Thank you for watching today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you again soon. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.